up, people? It's your girl Adeola. I'm always entertained by the fact that most Nigerian officials could care less about their citizens inside Nigeria. But if a smaller country tries to mess with their citizen, especially if that citizen is rich, they get in their face. Yes, they'll be like, excuse me, do you know that we are the giants of Africa? Yes, Kenya deported 3 Nigerians who were allegedly involved in drug trafficking. But because one of them is a rich man named Anthony Chinedu, our officials are like, no way, how can you deport these Nigerians? The Kenyan officials were like, these people were involved in drug trafficking. Yet, Nigeria detained the pilot that brought these Nigerians back. We detained the crew members. We detained 7 government officials who came from Kenya on this plane. In short, we detained the plane itself. Just imagine, the 12 of them spent the night inside their plane at Muritala Mohammed Airport in Lagos, eating leftover food. And later on, Nigerian officials collected their passports and then they told them, you are free to move around inside Nigeria. You collected people's passport and you are like, oh, they are free to move around. What is the meaning of that now? I just think it's ridiculous that Nigerian officials kept these Kenyans for more than 2 weeks. I said, Kai, Nigeria, seriously? Not today. Not today your citizens have been harassed in various parts of the world. And why are you not doing anything until now? What happens to those who have been deported by Spain, by UK, by the US? I mean, how come we didn't ground the US planes and when they deported Nigerians? Is it because those deportees cannot bribe government officials? Or is it because we are dealing with Kenya in this case? Because I know that Kenya and Nigeria have not been getting along well since the football drama, between them. And what about Nigerians in Malaysia who have been complaining for years? Many of them have been arrested and jailed without trials. I get emails from Nigerian students in Malaysia telling me that some of them are being harassed. Meanwhile, the Nigerian embassy in Malaysia acts as if they are not aware of what's going on. I know we have a reputation, okay? And yes, there are so many Nigerian scammers and drug dealers who have given us bad names, okay? But there are also several Nigerians abroad who are honest, yet they are being treated unfairly and facing discriminations. And our embassies refuse to help these people. And as of last year, my people, more than 6,000 Nigerians were serving various jail terms across the globe for drug-related offenses alone. That is just for drugs. So how come we didn't try to help any of these ones? More than 500 Nigerians are in prison in Brazil, about 400 in Algerian prisons, hundreds in Iran, Thailand, Malaysia. In fact, many Nigerians have been executed or put on death rows, in many countries. Yes, instead of us fighting for all these ones, we are doing boy, for one man just because he's quote-unquote rich. And by the way, the man describes himself as a businessman, yes, but Kenyan papers are reporting that this man is into drug business. Me, I don't know. You know that I don't talk about people waiting be my own. All I know is that this man has lived in Kenya for the past 18 years. He was married to a Kenyan woman. They had children together. And he actually has a pending court case in Kenya, that is drug related. I'm not saying that he's into drugs, so I'm just telling you what it is. You get what I'm saying? So why did Nigerian officials detain these Kenyans, for deporting him? He has said that these Kenyans would not be released until they pay back all of his investments in Kenya. So he's saying that the Kenyan plane, the one that they used to bring him back to Nigeria, that was grounded, he's saying that plane must be sold in order to pay him. Meanwhile, this past week, one Nigerian cab driver was killed in Brooklyn, right here in New York, in the most gruesome way you could ever think of. This man was stabbed by 2 passengers with an umbrella right in his eye. They stabbed him in his eye, and he bled to death in his own cab. And of course, the killers escaped. I'm sure that many Nigerian officials that are here in New York don't even know about this. Talk less of doing a follow-up, But then, that man was a cab driver. If he were to be a very rich businessman, maybe the story would be different. I'm trying to say that Nigerian officials did not detain the Kenyans because that's how much they care about their citizens. No. They detained them because the man involved has money to, influence their decision. Even the Nigerians inside Nigeria, how much do you think they care about us? So long as we're not influential, Or why did you think they waited for 3,000 people to die before they declared state of emergency regarding Boko Haram? In fact, Nigerian policemen killed 3 students at the University of Uyo last week just because these students were protesting a 100% overnight increase, in their transportation fare. Just imagine that 100% increase overnight. And that is not the first time that police or soldiers would kill students. Students that were not armed having a peaceful protest. And tell me, how many of those policemen have ever been prosecuted treated. And by the way, Nigerian students, they retaliated by burning down several buildings on campus, including the VC's office, the registrar's office. Honestly, it was like all hell broke loose, Now, trust me, I know how frustrating it can be for students when such a ridiculous thing happens. Overnight they just increase your transportation fare. And I know how frustrating it can be for the school authority not to care about you. But I don't think that violence is the way forward. Honestly, I know I'll get some emails about this. I mean, I'm all for a luta continua, I've been there. But in the end, two wrongs never make it right. More people just keep dying. I'm just saying, and there has to be other ways for us to make our voices heard than to be burning buildings and stuff like that and destroying stuff. But as I was saying, 3 students were killed that day. And knowing Nigeria, I know that nothing will be done about it. Yet, we are like, Kenya, don't mess with us. My people, the only way others will respect us is if we take responsibility on the well-being of our own citizens first and foremost. And then others will treat our citizens right. And just like America takes good care of their own citizens. And they're always willing to fight for the life of one of their citizens. Anywhere in the world. My Kenyan brothers and sisters, you too, cool down now and take some cold water. Cool down. Just because 3 Nigerians are into drug trafficking, you sent a whole plane to bring them to Nigeria, Kenya. I thought we were, like this. Yes, you guys are forgetting about several other Nigerians in Kenya, that are doing good things, making us proud, contributing to the growth of Kenyan economy. At least I remember Pastor Chinedu now, who is helping Kenyan women find husbands, good men, good husbands.
Maggie, baby. Oh, yeah. Shiro, baby. Oh, yeah. Mary, baby. Glory.
And I've had Kenyan women confess that they really enjoy Nigerian men more than, yes, no offense, but I've had Kenyan women describe Nigerian men as the most romantic homo sapiens in the whole world because, we know how to treat women. I'm not boasting, I'm just telling you how it is. And not just that, when I went to Kenya, and you guys were playing Nigerian songs everywhere I went in Kenya, they were playing Nigerian songs. Now you are deporting Nigerians. Don't do that. All of you, know all the Nigerian lyrics. Even me from Nigeria, some of these songs I don't know. Like that one, what is it again? Yes. It was in Kenya that I learned that, and this song is originally from Nigeria. And you guys were playing Nigerian songs. Now you are like deporting Nigeria. It's not that good now. Yeah, so please cool down. Take some cold water, take some ice and cool down. We are all brothers and sisters. Yes, I'm just keeping it real. Earlier this month, policemen in Lagos chased one Okada rider, motorbike rider. You know that the government in Lagos has banned Okada, but some people are still operating illegally. Now the thing is, policemen chase after them whenever they spot them on the road. And the way these policemen chase after these Okada guys is pathetic. It is very, very pathetic. They will break all traffic rules just to catch one Okada man so that they can seize his bike, and then he would have to pay them, I think, like 7,000 naira before they would release his bike to him. Now this same policemen, if they see armed robbers coming in Lagos, they will run the other way. They don't waste time. They will run the other way. But they chase this Okada man until they caused an accident. Just imagine, while they were running after this Okada man, a truck driver that has a huge container was trying to avoid the policemen and the Okada driver. Do you know that his container fell and landed on a van that was very close to him? It landed on a van, and that was how the container crushed the driver of that van. I'm talking about Samuel Ogunaike. Some people call him Bele. He was on his way to work at Ikeja that day. This man was under the container for hours. For several hours, this man was crushed until he couldn't breathe anymore, and then he gave up the ghost. And all because policemen were chasing after one Okada man. And this is not the first time that civilians will die because these policemen are trying to catch an Okada man by fire, by force. What kind of country is this now? Listen to this email that I got from one of Samuel's friends. He said that Samuel would have been alive today if not for the stiff laws of the Nigerian police. I can clearly state that the future of this country is uncertain when our leaders are no longer passionate about the lives of their citizens, and the death of youths means nothing to them. Why do you authorize chasing Okada men with such intensity and ferocious manner? A life you cannot give, yet you take at will. That's very sad. I'm really hoping that we can do something about this. This is crazy. We can't continue like this. May his soul rest in peace. Just keeping it real. So last week, Mugabe bypassed parliament and used his presidential power to declare a voting date in Zimbabwe. Really, Mugabe? I mean, this is June, and the guy suddenly decided that elections will be held on July 31st. In a matter of weeks, Mugabe, seriously, I guess once you're a dictator, you will always be a dictator. Just imagine that. This man, once again, is deliberately trying to prevent the reforms that Zimbabweans are desperately calling for. And when opposition parties complained, guess what he said? He said, oh, you guys are just complaining because you're all scared. Yes, you're scared because you know that I'm going to win this election. Seriously, Mugabe, an 89-year-old man. For 89, that means next year he would be 90. Just imagine. Meanwhile, this man is busy registering people that are dead on the voters list. I'm serious. So many who have been dead for more than 100 years, they have been registered. Not just that, he's sending thugs to intimidate people to vote for him by fire by force, by beating them up. I met a guy from Zimbabwe who told me that during the last election that he got to the polling station to vote, and then they told him, Mr. Man, sorry, but your name is not on the electoral roll. Your name is not on this thing. You did not register. My friend said, I registered now. They said, what? Are you trying to tell us that we are lying? Look at you. Young people of nowadays, go home. My friend said that was how he went back home. He said he did not vote. And he said it's only because they knew that he wouldn't vote for Mugabe. And not only that, 4 journalists were arrested last week for covering election stories that did not favor Mugabe. And he's been preventing international observers from coming to Zimbabwe to observe this coming election. He's saying, no, this is a private matter. We can take care of our own business. It looks obvious, though, that he himself is the one scared. I think he's scared of what would happen if he's no longer the president because of all the bad things that he has done, which is why he's doing everything to retain power. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwean parliament needs to change restrictive media and security laws. And the military in Zimbabwe needs to sign a code of conduct pledging not to interfere with the election process this year, so that it won't be like 2008. Remember when several were beaten and killed in the run-up to elections by soldiers and other Mugabe supporters? So, Baba Mugabe, time up. It is time to go. Let other people do it now, I mean, I don't know anything. I'm just keeping it real. I'd like to leave you now with the story of an Ethiopian woman here in the US who has overcome several obstacles to become an inspiration for so many of us. Menbere Aklilu lost her mom when she was young, and then she was abused for several years by her husband when they lived in Italy. And she even became homeless right in Italy. In fact, she gave birth to her son while she was living in the shelter. Meanwhile, she started doing what people would call dirty jobs, just to take care of her son. She was a maid and she was working in restaurants in Italy for so many years. Imagine being a single mom with a child in a foreign country. She came from Ethiopia to Italy and there was nobody for her to run to. But then when she moved to the US, she decided against all odds to make something great of her life, whatever it would cost her. Even though at that time she could not speak English at all. She couldn't speak English at all. But guess what? This woman started working at an Italian restaurant in Richmond, Marina Bay in California. And within 2 years, my people, she did not just learn English, but she had bought that restaurant. Yes, not just any kind of restaurant. So this is a very beautiful riverfront restaurant, an upscale Italian restaurant. Just imagine, within 2 years, she came to this country, she learned English, she worked her way up at the restaurant, they kept promoting her until one day she bought the restaurant. Now she tells people that she had her son when she was homeless, but today the guy is getting his PhD at New York University and she is a very proud mom. Now the best part of the story is that now that she's comfortable, she is giving back by not forgetting others who are also homeless and helpless. Every year, this woman's restaurant serves hundreds of homeless people. They serve them good food for free on major holidays, like Thanksgiving. Last year, they fed up to 600 homeless people. Imagine how wonderful that experience must be for these homeless people to have waiters and waitresses taking their orders at such a nice looking restaurant for free. And this year, she's planning on feeding at least 900 homeless people. So one at a time, she's touching several lives. Not only that, she hosts dinners for neighborhood girls, teaching them etiquette, as well as providing tuition assistance to private schools for those who are in need. And during graduation ceremony this year at the Holy Names University in Oakland, California, guess who was the commencement speaker? Yep, Menbere Aklilu was the commencement speaker.
In America, if you know where you're going, there is no limit. There is no stop sign, absolutely. America is the opportunity land.
Now that's inspiring, moving from being homeless to becoming a commencement speaker, inspiring people. No matter what life has offered you, my people, keep her story in mind. If you keep believing, the best is yet to come. No matter what it is that you've been through, you can always overcome any obstacle. And when you do and you become comfortable, don't forget her story. Try to remember others who are less privileged as well. I'm just keeping it real. Before I leave today, I like to read some of your emails. This one is from Samson Gebru from London. He says, "Hi Adeola, I really enjoy watching your show. I am forced to watch your program online and not during the live production. So would you mind telling me the actual day of the show and the time, please?" Well, Sammy, every Saturday from 12 noon New York time until around 5, we have a weekly production on SaharaTV. And you can join us either by watching us live on SaharaTVonline.com or you can watch it on SaharaReporters.com. And we usually play our shows towards the end of the production, Dr. Damage's Africa in the City, Keeping It Real. We usually play them towards the end of the production. So if you want to join us during our weekly show, then you need to tune in between 12 and 5 New York time on Saturdays. But if you miss the shows, don't worry about it. We post them all on YouTube, so you can always look for them from YouTube. The next one is from Kizito Obi. He says, "Hi Adeola, I really enjoy your show. For me, I don't even laugh or smile when I listen to your show. Rather, it pains my heart. So please, I know it does pain you too, or else you won't be doing what you are doing. But please, don't make comic of it at the end. I mean, as in laughing." Well, Kizito, thank you for your concern, but really, so many things have gone wrong that sometimes if you just think about it too much, you will be depressed, which is why I try to make you laugh while I'm telling you what's going on in Nigeria and in other African countries. So for me, the laughter is necessary, at least for me, to not be depressed about what I'm talking about. And if I'm depressed, you will also be depressed. But once in a while, I don't laugh about what I'm talking about because these are serious issues. But at the same time, I try to make it funny so that you can be entertained while you're learning about what's going on in your country. But I get your points. Thanks a lot for letting me know. The next one is from Abiola Martins. He says, "Hi, I'm a Nigerian living in Qatar. I saw your program on YouTube and please help us ask Nigerian government why there is so much increase on the fuel price in Nigeria. Here in Qatar, the price for fuel per liter is less than 1 Qatar Riyal, which is less than 45 Naira our money. And our oil in Nigeria is more than that of Qatar by far. And here in Qatar, we have electricity 24 hours a day and other social amenities are readily available. Why are they treating the citizens of Nigeria this way?" Well, I'm sorry to say, Abiola, but this is the question that we've all been asking for a long time. Just imagine, last week I actually compared Qatar and other countries that are producing oil, to what's going on in Nigeria. Nigeria is the one that has the lowest minimum wage per month, and yet Nigerians are the ones that pay the most for fuel in their country. It is ridiculous, but hopefully, we won't do all these things in vain. Hopefully there would be some real changes, and very soon. I mean, we're really looking forward to these changes very, very soon. But thank you so much for writing from Qatar. The next one is from Professor Femi Ajayi. He says, "Adeola, I accidentally stomped onto the episode 75th of Keeping It Real with Adeola after my dinner, and I am very proud of you." Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you discovered Keeping It Real. Please keep spreading the word. Thank you. The next email is from Fidel Dennis. He says, "Hi Adeola, thanks be to God for your show. I'm always inspired. I'm from Liberia, and since I started watching your show, I'm always willing to see more. I'm happy to always hear the words of encouragement you have for all your viewers." Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're inspired by some of the things that I say, but yeah, I really appreciate this all the way from Liberia. Thank you. And the last email for today is from Ijeoma Onuigbo. He says, hi, I discovered your show by accident on YouTube. You kept me watching one after the other. In fact, I'm reluctantly turning off the computer right now to go to bed. Seriously? And you're very funny while you try to use your singing talent. Hey, somebody is talking about my singing talent. Hey, people, don't make fun of me now. I'm trying. Thank you, Jari. Ijoma Onuigbo, thank you so much for writing, and I'm so glad that you enjoy keeping it real, and especially my singing talent. Thank you, Jari, my brother or sister. All right, my people, that's all the time that I have for emails for today. Please keep sending them in. I personally respond to this email. If you didn't get my response yet, you will get my response. It's because, of course, there is a lot to respond to. And also, please keep sharing the show, on your social media platforms, on your Facebook or Twitter account, so that more people can get to know about the show. Thank you. Alright, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.